I want to talk about one video that I found on the internet. It's a shot of a girl, a 10-year-old black girl, and in that video she was crying and she said, "I could die from the color of my skin," with a shaky voice. A child who is most likely doesn't even understand what is the meaning of racism. A child with a mindset that her skin color could kill her. A sentence that should never be spoken by a 10-year-old. Something that should never be worried by a kid her age. And this is just one of the many fatalities that is happening out there. So how can we change this? Is it even possible? Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Putri from Darma, Bangsa, Lampung. And today, I will talk more about racism in the era of globalization. It is a clear state that our nation is no longer united, but divided. They say African was slave, they say Asian was a virus, they call Hispanic were drug lords and rapists, and so much more. And if you ask, who is this they? It's people with privilege. It is scary to think that there are people out there that see others as a color. How we are put in this different category of boxes with the label of our races. A giant label that we can't rip off and will remain forever in our body. I ever heard a phrase about that humans is almost similar as cars. It's almost like when we see a car in the street, we always comment about the body, the shape, the color, the touch-up of that car, but never once spoken the inside of that car, the one who is driving the car. It's almost similar as when people see others physically and not what inside of their hearts. Based on FOA News, in the US alone, recent hate crime statistics show that nearly 7,036 incidents in 2018 were motivated by a bias against someone's race, ethnicity, or ancestry bias, according to the FBI. Of the nearly 5,000 cases that was documented, 46.9% were anti-Black or African American bias, 20.2% were anti-white bias, and 13% were anti-Latino or Hispanic bias. The disparity is even greater when we talk about cyberbullying towards people of color. Based on the Centric.com, 62% of Asian American survey reported that they are being harassed once or twice monthly. So, if all of this number doesn't affect you, let me give you some actual cases that happen in our society. An elderly Thai immigrant died after being shoved to the ground. A Filipino American was slashed in the face with a box cutter. 22 people were killed after a shooting targeting Mexican in a Walmart in El Paso, Texas. Three Asian spa has a shooting rampage that killed 8 people during one night. So it is ironic to see that even kids' show are brainwashing our kids to see others differently. How we are trained to see others differently since we are kids. And if we as adults can change this, I wouldn't know how our next future generation would become. There are still hope in humanity, and it's our own society. We're the only one who can change this and resolve this problem. So, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that all of us are capable to spread awareness. But well, not all of us can educate ourselves. Expanding our mindset to see other perspectives is not a really easy job to do, especially when you're privileged. Racism has become a social structure in our society. It has accompanied us in our everyday life without us even noticing. We have to know what even is racism. How can a racism act happen? What should we do when a racism act happens? And how to know your privilege. If you can't answer all of the questions that I just said, Internet has a huge range of resources that you could use. Internet is probably one of the easiest ways for us to educate ourselves. But not only from the internet, we could also use books that was written by people of color or ethnic minorities, such as I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings by Maya Angelou, that talks about identity, racism, rape, literacy. Or watch Netflix documentaries or films like example 13 that show us how biased American law towards people of color. Internet has already provided us with so many resources that we can use. So there's no reason for you to not educate yourself. So ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I believe that we can make the society a better place and a safer place for all of us to live in. By spreading awareness and educating ourselves, it's one step closer for all of us to reach equality. Lastly, let's change black, white, pink, and many other colors to a hue, because we all bleed the same color.